this next speaker has a very colored resume. She was formerly a professor, also a lawyer, worked and employed in startups, also listed on the Web3 Advisory Board for Salesforce. She is co-founder of collab.land. I would like to welcome to the stage Angela. Come on.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. What a fun location. All right. Well, I am going to get started. I will say I have not practiced this, and I decided to kind of go with a more like, let's just talk about it kind of scene. So we're going to do that. All right. So the name of my talk is How to Activate the Unactivated, Empowering Communities and DAOs. It's a pretty broad topic, but it's really like Collabland, just to give you a little bit of background about Collabland, we started 4 years ago, so May of 2020. This is like our 4th birthday or 4th anniversary. I never know what to call it. And now we've seen a few things, right? Like we are the creators of what's called token gating. I don't know if you're familiar with token gating, but it really just means you have a token and now you want to meet the other people who also have tokens. The community, initially it's like the community founder or the project founder will come out and say, hey, if you just bought my NFT or if you just bought a share in my DAO, then come and meet me. It was born out of necessity. We started off as a DAO tooling because this was May of 2020. You remember lockdown had just happened. And so now it was, how do we find the people that we used to meet with in person, like we're all doing here? How do we now get together with people and continue this DAO movement without actually being able to be with one another? And of course, everyone knows, okay, this wallet address voted for this proposal, but how do you actually come into some kind of social situation where you're getting to know each other and being able to talk about the proposals in real life? Well, online, but equivalent to what we could say was real life. Okay, here we go. So the talk is empowering communities and activating the unactivated, but really the first question is, what is a community and why do I care? So in crypto, we're still very, very early, as everyone says, and you've probably heard a million times. But what communities mean in crypto right now are attention. They're a place for people that are giving attention to the exact same thing can meet together. And that's kind of how you're finding your niche, finding your interests, finding other people that are looking at the same thing you're looking at. And there are so many things to look at in crypto. So how do you find the people? And one of those ways is through community. And that's literally all it means. It means I've chosen to give my attention to this particular project in this particular moment, and now in order to continue learning more about that, instead of going to Wikipedia or something and learning more, or going to Reddit and kind of Googling it, you're looking for a community of other people who are also paying attention to the exact same thing. So that's really all a community is. So if you have gotten some attention in some way, then you want to keep that attention, or if you're a person who's bought something from somebody and you're giving them attention that way, how do you find more people that are interested? Wow, I'm already 4 minutes in. All right, let's see. I'm pushing the button. Here we go. Okay, so start with, how do you even get people to come and join your community? Like, why would they join your community? Who cares? There's billions of things for us to pay attention to. Like, how do you get people to actually care about your community or your project or be showing some interest in what you're doing? And the way that it has been going, at least I will tell you, I started in February of 2020 and have been kind of at the grassroots of what Collabland was. Like I said, we started as a DAO tool. However, since the time that I've been in crypto, I've seen what has engaged people and what continues to engage people. Just like what's engaged people for hundreds of thousands of years is storytelling. So if you have a good story, right now I'll give you an example. And again, never financial advice, so no, not financial advice, but like Pepe token, right? Or Doge token, or a dog with hat. Like, It's funny, it's cute, people have a story about it, people have a feeling about it, people just think, oh, this is something I think is interesting, and instead of it being something like Linguini or Spider-Man, you could actually buy a little thing and join a community and meet a group of people that have also bought that little thing. Meme coins, actually, just to divert a little bit, are really, really interesting because meme coins now, what we think of as meme coins, have a picture. And if you remember, like ICOs before, right? Like there was no picture, no one cared about the art or the storytelling. However, with the NFT boom from like 2021, 2022, art became more interesting and compelling for people. And so now it's almost like this version of tokens, right? ERC20s or fungible tokens right now are incorporating maybe the initial ICO kind of excitement with all the speculation, but it's also including the storytelling and the art from the NFT boom. So now we're kind of at like a culmination of that, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, art, like I said, maybe it's not like your unique picture anymore. It's not like 10,000 pictures, but it is a single picture. Like the dog with hat picture is just a little dog with a little hat. And people love that little dog with the little hat. And that's just kind of what we do as people. We want to be drawn to something. We want to feel a part of something. Engage the voices that are being listened to right now. It is very, very crowded in crypto right now. Everyone's talking about different things. You don't know what's a scam, what's not a scam, to be honest with you. You just don't know. And so one of the things that you want to do is be compelling to KOLs and to project leaders. Like those are two separate approaches. One of the ways to get involved with KOLs, there's plenty of different agencies that do that. You can find somebody you like online. It's a whole sub-industry, I will tell you. It is not so easy to break into anymore. It's definitely developed. I was just at NFC Lisbon, and I was on a panel with two KOLs who are just like now moving to Dubai and have turned it into a whole KOL agency. So it's definitely become more advanced, and so it's not as easy as it was. However, we do have platforms that give us a voice, and so if that's something that's interesting for you, then it doesn't mean something you can't do yourself. You could totally do it. But if you want a little bit of a head start, you're going to want to engage with them. And then project leaders, it's that like no man is an island, right? Even with Collabland, we work with lots of different communities, and I have it later on in the slides. But we have 53,000 communities. But how we raise ourselves up is by raising our communities up. And so making friends with the leaders of those communities, doing collaborations with the leaders of those communities. There are other ways to get out there. And one of the ways you're seeing it happen in crypto space is building those relationships so you get the project leaders to start talking about it. And then, of course, incentives. Like, you know, my co-founder and my husband, James, often says, come for the casino, stay for the revolution, which is let's just be 100% real about why people are here. Like now, like I said, you know, since 2020, and I've been here, and it's like, there's this idealism that comes with crypto, like, oh, we want it to be a certain way, we want it to be this open network, we want to have opportunity for everybody, it's going to be a collaboration and a global movement, and like, there's all these beautiful reasons that we're here, blockchain, right? However, let's be really real about the reason people are here right now, and most people are joining for financial reasons. And so one of the ways to get people into your community is through incentives, airdrop, token, points, referral programs, and anything like that. Okay. All right, here we go. So once they're in your community, right? Once they're in, this isn't even the hard part. Once they're in your community, how do you get them to stay, right? So what do people want? Well, I will tell you over the last 4 years what I've discovered is that more than anything, more than like camaraderie and friendship and all of that, people want status. Everybody wants status. Like, even the person that you think is like the most hardworking, like selfless, you know, like completely able to just keep on working and, you know, does things that everyone's asking, and he's your best community, or he or she is your best community member, or they still want status. I will tell you, I've seen it over and over and over again over all the communities that I support. status is something that everybody needs. And so how do you give them status? Well, there's lots of different ways to get status, and that's kind of the second thing, which is like reputation building. There's on-chain, you really want to focus on on-chain activities like tipping, on-chain tipping, POAPs, like for your events, like your town halls or any kind of events that you have. Even special badges, we even give badges to people that are like willing to take a survey for us, right? Like if you give them some kind of like alpha tester role or like early adopter role, like, and give them a POAP for that, or give them some tips and say like, oh, I'm giving you these tips for these reasons because you provided this service. Like giving them an opportunity to build their resume on chain is tremendous. It's one of the ways that we can break through our traditional systems. Like one of the things that holds people back in the traditional system is you are working somewhere, you're probably leaving because of some reason that maybe isn't going so well. People usually don't leave jobs because they love them so much. They're leaving jobs because something's happened or something's gone wrong, or they have trouble with the company or have trouble with their boss. Well, then what? Like you're going to a new job and they're asking you for a reference from your old job, and it's kind of a difficult situation there. And so now with blockchain, we're able to have on-chain reputation where you're not going to be dependent on what somebody else has said about you. And I'll say, our hiring, at least the last 4 or 5 employees, and we only have 12, have been through this system, which is where have you worked in crypto? What have you done in crypto? Let me see kind of what communities you're a part of, what projects you're a part of. And it's been able to be, you know, trustless in that way, right? And so that's kind of what we're all here for. And then hiring from within. You've got your community members, and this is a great, great way to give status. Like, I cannot tell you, I guess I'll use a really quick example, but even Jiho from Axie Infinity and Candy, who works for Collabland, like they both started in CryptoKitties and they were just community members. And now she runs comms at Collabland and he runs Axie Infinity. Like you can build up people that are in your communities that you see working hard and are interested, because that, having an opinion and being interested, and again, don't take like criticism as a way to not raise them up. When people are criticizing your project, they are engaged with your project. They are excited about your project. And someone having an opinion about something that you've created out of your own mind is extremely valuable. And so if you have someone in your community that does show up to things and you think, wait a minute, you know, maybe they're just a naysayer, maybe they're just a criticizer, like pull them in. Ask them about it. Just, they're giving you their attention, which is the most valuable thing we have on our planet. And so find a way to engage them and pull them in and groom them to maybe take on more responsibilities and let them change from within. I know I said hiring from within, but really let them make your project better from within and pay them for it. Like more than anything, pay them for it. It's a mistake I see happening over and over in communities where the biggest projects, I will tell you, I met with some people at the last conference I was at, and these are big projects that make plenty of money, and yet they depend on like volunteer admins and mods in their community. And that is not the way to raise status. That is the way to burn people out and make them feel really, really bad. So pay them for it, but again, that's a great way to raise them. Okay, here we go. So now you've been doing this for a while. I mean, there's lots of other things, and if you want to talk about it afterwards, we can talk about it. But creating a content calendar, creating opportunities for people to be engaged, making sure that you do have an active mod and admin team, so that way you're welcoming people that come in, and giving opportunities for people to come and participate, having consistent activities that people can join is super important, and all across the world, in all different time zones, all different days, so that people can. Now, let's say you've been doing this for a while and it's not working. You are like, I just don't know what to do. It's the exact same 10 people talking every time. There's hundreds of people in my community. I can't get them to engage. They're just sitting around and I just see the loudest voices in the room constantly are doing all the talking. Okay, so number one is, did you try hiring professional mods? And I know I harped on that a little bit earlier, but you have to hire professional mods, and I can help you with that if you need it. Not a shell, but it's just true. So that's number one. Because you need to have programming a community is not something that you can just say, oh, everyone come into this park and now I'm leaving. Like maybe it's not even a park. Come to my empty parking lot, right? There's nothing built yet. Come to my empty parking lot at 10 a.m. and let's all just be there. And then I'm going to go somewhere else. And then you're like, wait a minute, it's chaos. They're beating up on each other. They're starting fires in the neighborhood. I don't know, all the things that people do. And so hiring a professional mod team is huge. You have to show a commitment to your community first in order for them to start growing with you. So that's first. Second, switch from Discord to Telegram. So we're on Telegram and Discord. We started on Telegram. Most communities should never have moved out of Telegram. You only need one channel. Now they've got different topics you can do. It's small enough that you can manage it. Everyone moved to Discord, and now you've got infinite number of channels. People are doing all kinds of things, adding games, doing this. It's insane. And for a lot of projects, they get completely overwhelmed with the amount of activity that happens in terms of like, it's just, they can't control it. They don't know how to control it. And so one of the things you can do is switch from Discord and Telegram. It's okay to slim it down. It's okay if you've only got 10 active people and 100 members, you don't need a Discord server. That's entirely possible. And you don't have plans to continue to grow it? Don't. Move to Telegram. People will respect you for it. Second, try seasons. Like you can have, okay, well, this is the end of our fall season or end of season 2. Now we're taking a short break. It's okay to take a short break. It's okay to hibernate your community. And what I wrote here is embrace a fresh approach. You don't have to be in a situation where you start this community and you're like, it's going to be all these things, and I'm expecting it to be wonderful and everyone to hang out and all these people to be best friends and everyone to be pumping my coin and creating memes all the time about what I'm doing and what we're all doing here together. If it's not working, try a fresh approach. Come back with a different structure. It's okay to do that. There doesn't have to be fear around that. And oftentimes I talk to communities and they're like, oh, people will get mad. Like people will get mad if I take a break. People will get mad if I shut down my Discord and I move to Telegram. People will get mad at me and they're gonna FUD my project and they're going to completely lose whatever attention I have, I'm going to lose. So I will say, it's not true. We're all really busy. If anything, people might even appreciate the little break because oftentimes we're in, I don't know, how many community guys are you guys more than like 10 chats or 10 Discords, would you say? Yeah, most people are, right? That's still a lot. And so if you come out as a project owner and you say, this worked last cycle, it's not really working anymore, or we're pivoting, or we're trying a fresher approach here, people are going to respect you. One of the things that's the most important, which I don't feel like communities do enough, but I want to behoove you all to do it, which is to be honest and lead with honesty. So if people are, number one, complaining about something, listen to them and say, okay, I hear that it's not working, and engage them for feedback so you can get that feedback. But also be honest about the fact that you've only got 10 loud people in your Discord server. Like, be honest. Is that really bringing more people into your project, or is it pushing more people away? If it's not serving you, then you can pivot at that point. So yeah, hibernate. And then this is building in public. Like, I don't know why we all forget about that. And I will tell you about Collabland. We launched a SocialFi app in December called Tell a Friends. It did not work. It did not work. People were, and now SocialFi is back, but anyway, people were kind of burned out on Friend Tech 1. People, there were lots of other SocialFi apps coming out. We're like, no, ours is going to be different. People are going to be into it because it's going to be SocialFi on Telegram. That's why we called it Tell a Friends, and everyone's going to be into it. Nobody was into it. And it's hard. So what we did at that point, after it not working out, is we started asking the people, number one, the people that did use it and left, and the people that had stayed and were trying to use it were having a really hard time with it. We did surveys and we had one-on-one interviews with them and we talked to them. What is it about Tell a Friends that you like? And what is it that you don't like? And what is it about SocialFi that you like? And what is it that you don't like? And what would you like to see that we're doing here continue? Well, we did that, and it worked because what we realized is that in an already flooded market, people weren't interested in what we were proposing, which was a many-to-many model compared to the one-to-many model that you see in SocialFi. For us, we're like, we're going to take a chance on this. Maybe people want to build communities where everyone can talk to one another. They don't. They're not looking for that. However, there was group trading that we were doing within our communities, where you could get trading links from other people in the community, and then you could get a percentage of that trading link if someone used your trading link. So we did learn from that launch that we did. There were some things that people liked, and now we're going to take those things and we're going to incorporate it into the Collabland bot. So is it embarrassing? Yes. Is it okay to be embarrassed? Yes. Like, it's okay. Be embarrassed. Say this didn't work and it sucks. And I'm not sorry that we tried it, but that's how you kind of get to something better. And so in the same way with your community, yes, you tried it. You have the best intentions. You're like, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to get all these people together. They're all going to pump my token together, and we're all going to work on this, and everyone's going to make friends and innovate and build all these new connections, and it's going to be amazing. And then that doesn't happen. It's okay to say, we tried it this way, it didn't work. These are the things I learned from it, and I would say that's key. Even those 10 angry people that are in your server, talk to them. Learn from them, do deep interviews with them to kind of understand what was right and what was wrong, and then take that and move it into that next phase. Like, really the key is survival. The key is don't leave. This is a meaningful endeavor right now, even though it doesn't feel like that all the time. So yeah, I guess that's my message from that, which is like, it's messy. Everything is messy. Everything is messy. And I think it's really hard when you're a project leader to know that, because all the stories that you hear are so glossy, and people are announcing their partnerships and their fundraise, and it's always good news from projects. Everything's going well. Everyone's telling you everything's going well. And when you're a founder or you're starting a project, it feels extremely lonely. But I will tell you, after 4 years of doing this, I've met so many different founders, talked to so many different projects. Every single thing is messy. And so if you can accept that, then you'll understand. Like, people don't talk about it, but let's be different. Like, let's just be honest. Like, what if we try that? You know, a lot of what we're doing with crypto is building a new world, right? Like, I think that's probably why you're all here. It's why I'm here. Where maybe age doesn't matter, and race doesn't matter, and gender doesn't matter, and all of that. We're trying to break through a lot of that. And this is another opportunity, which is like, mistakes, they're not mistakes if you're learning from them. So yeah, that's that. Okay, where am I? Sorry, I don't know how to use this really well. Okay, all this to say, and I've got 2 minutes and 35 seconds left. All this to say is, communities, again, it's overwhelming. You hear that word, you don't know why you should care. Like, you're just trying to do your little thing. Now you have to listen to everyone in the peanut gallery. Like, what? Why do we have to do that? But I'll tell you, communities continue to grow. More communities are created now, have been created at a faster pace since January of 2024 than all of the last bull run. Like, the pace. And mostly, and I wrote here, Hey Hey Gaming and Hey Hey APAC, because it might not be what we've been seeing in previous cycles, which was like more Western, European, Canadian, USA communities forming, but now, and around NFTs. And before that, it was DAOs at a much smaller percentage. But now we're seeing more gaming. Gaming servers are huge. I'd say in our top 10 servers are mostly gaming servers, and also APAC region. And so it's almost like, in the same way Bitcoin ordinals have seen the dumpster fire that we created during 2021 and 2022 in NFT ETH, or ETH NFTs, in the same way APAC has watched us, what we've been doing, and the mistakes that were made with ETH communities back in 2021, 2022, and they've taken it and they're building something so much stronger. And so APAC communities are growing like crazy. Our last 4 chains that we have integrated have been APAC communities, or APAC chains. So just to share that, that's just a little bit of alpha. We have over 13 million wallets connected and growing still to this day. We had our all-time high, which was like 12,500 wallets joining in one day, and that was in the end of January 2024. So like I said, there are more people here than ever before. You may not feel it in your particular niche, but I can tell you across Collabland, we have 36 different blockchains right now, and we've had all-time high in terms of the number of wallets connected. So people are joining in. Maybe it feels a little splintered right now, and let's see what happens with that. But in terms of community is a message that has continued to like proliferate. Sorry about that word. Throughout all the chains and through crypto. Yeah, so I guess the leaving thought with that is think about it and take a very thoughtful approach. Community is not just a buzzword. It's actually work. It's actually something you have to plan out yourself and you have to strategize yourself. It's not something you can just leave in an empty parking lot. And here I am. So I'm Anjali Young. There I am on LinkedIn. I'm Dama De Roca on Twitter and really all the socials, Farcaster, Instagram, wherever. Favor, yeah, any of the new ones. You can find Collabland at collab.land. It's in our name. And then our Twitter is collab_land_. And the links are at Collabland. So thank you.
Do you want to answer some questions?
Oh, yeah, happy to.
So do we have any questions from the audience?
If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you so much. One small question. Because there is this informational tsunami which is happening in these years, and it's increasing, what I'm witnessing is the people of my age and around, they're declining the amount of information that they're consuming. So are there any suggestions from your side on recipes about the volume and frequency of the information?
Oh boy, that's a really good question. I mean, I can only tell you at the community level, like we used to have weekly town halls and we let those go. So now we do like once a month town halls. And so I think you are seeing more communities responding to that because you're right, it is too much information. If you go on Twitter, we do a weekly Twitter Spaces, but it really ebbs and flows on how many people can handle that. But if you go on Twitter any time of the day, there's like 5 different Twitter Spaces going on. Like, what are you supposed to do? I mean, trust is important. Find people you trust and follow them, follow who they're following, and you really have to learn to curate. I think having a thesis helps. Like, I have a thesis for what I'm interested in, and I try to stay in that lane. It's so difficult because of FOMO. Like, FOMO is intense. And every time I hear something and I'm like, oh, I didn't know about that. Let me listen to that Twitter Spaces again. Like, we want to kind of stay on top of everything, but it's too overwhelming and we can't do it. So I say the strategy to that is have a thesis. Decide what you're going to be interested in and then focus your attention in there and then do your best to have restrictions in terms of like everything else that people are talking about. And it's hard with crypto, I get it. But once you have like a dedicated interest, then it makes it a little bit easier. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Otherwise, I'll be around. So if you want to approach me individually, I'm good. Okay, cool. Well, thank you.